teenagers. But the years of life works on you, doesn't it? And it hopefully matures us, and hopefully helps us to understand more of God's grace in our lives. It's kind of like a marriage. You know, you come into a marriage, especially young like we were, and you bring with you your upbringing, right? You bring with you your mom and dad and her mom and dad and how things were. You bring rules. You do. You bring traditions. When you're raising your kid, you want to raise them like you were raised, and she wants to raise them like she was raised, and you know, you got all these rules. My dad did it this way, my mom did it this way, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter what it is, and it can cause stress. And over the years, well, over 33 years of marriage, you know, we just have one rule left. I mean, just one rule left. And that's that the toilet paper goes this way. That's pretty much the only rule. Sorry, it goes this way. We don't have cats, so it's okay. But life changes us. And we grow and we learn, and whether it's kids, relationships, marriages, health. December of 2011, I was in the hospital for 5 days and I almost died. I had heart issues. My ejection fraction of my heart was down to 20%, and I came out with congestive heart failure. And I've not been the same. I've not been as healthy ever since. But you know, you evaluate things. You evaluate a lot of it, as many of you know. And we have our stories. But if there's anything that I want us to leave with this morning is the greatest story ever told was this. Say it with me. For God so loved the world that He gave His one and only Son, that whoever believes in Him would not perish but have everlasting life. We had a little mix of King James and but the message, God so loved the world that He gave. Were it not for the grace of God. It said in our description of today, this is a brief, non-denominational worship service. Well, the brief was the message to Terry and me. That was the message to us. And you know what? There'll be no labels in heaven.
Yeah, that's right.
You're a born-again follower of Christ who trusts in Him and believes in Him. Or you're not. And when I think about the price that was paid for my salvation, the blood that was shed, the suffering and the shame and what Christ did for me, I realize that my salvation has totally been bought by the blood of Christ. And what foolishness of me to think that I can do any more for that. You know? We live in His grace. We are saved by His grace. We are kept by His grace. Right. See, I used to think, I'm saved by grace, but I have to work to keep it. If we are a new creation in Him, that's how we started this, right? And we just trust and we believe. I kind of hate the phrase, nobody's perfect, because it's a given, nobody's perfect. Sometimes it's just an excuse not to do things well. I don't like that. But we're not perfect. And we have to have His grace every day. And I promise you this, you can hold me to this. You trust in God, put your faith in Him, do your best to live for Him, He's going to receive you.
Amen.
You know? He's going to receive you. I'm so glad that Bud and Lou are here today.
Yes.
And the way they've been received. And I was talking to my wife on the phone last night, Lou, and showed that picture. It's already on Facebook. I'm not a big poster, but I put it on Facebook today. And she remembers you in the library and telling stories and all of those kind of things. And my quick story is this. I was in Coach Robinson's class. Now, coaches always teach health, right? Do they ever teach anything else? But we were in the back classroom all the way to the left. The door swings open and our principal walks in and he calls me out. He's not just our principal, but he's the chairman of the board of deacons at my church. Well, I had been skipping class a lot, and to try to get away with it, I had been going up to the secretary's desk, and she had these pad of passes. It's really easy to distract people, you know. I got away with forging her name on passes for a long time. But brilliant Bud Johnson figured it out. Called me out in the hallway, and I remember the look we heard, the conversation we had. But thank the Lord, my dad, his pastor, was in the hospital sick. Because it brought me grace. And he explained to me that because my dad was well, or was not well, he wasn't going to tell it. But I better not do that. But I can't promise you I didn't do that again. But another example of grace, right? Another example that we don't get what we deserve. We don't get what we deserve. So I just want to say, you know, let's practice grace more. I appreciate Pam and one of the posts she put in as it came down to the last wire. You know, we got to forgive. And I know some of it's heavy stuff. I do. And I've heard the word forgiveness kind of around the reunion. Because junk happens, stuff happens, and we're stupid. I mean, I just think we're stupid. God forgives us. And He manages to work through all of the crazy things we do, and the dumb things we do. But I don't want to forget the past, but I don't want to be scared about the future either. You know? I don't want to be a person living and looking in the rearview mirror. I've had a pretty full life. I've had a really great life. Privileges I've had to travel a lot through the church and things like that. But at the same time, I've had some pretty dark times, really dark times. And none of us can guarantee we won't have a dark time tomorrow, and there may be some in this room that are just in the thick of it right now. But God has offered us His grace. Jesus has paid the ultimate sacrifice for us. We want to live right, and we want to live holy, and we were created for good works, but there's not one thing we can do to earn our salvation. No. And that's worth just taking a chill pill and relaxing and saying, thanks be to God. Thanks be to God. So, if I had a closing verse, how many of you ever heard of Bible Gateway? I get this verse of the day, you know. Help us if that's our only devotion, but it's there, it's there. So I got this verse a week or two ago, and I said, I'm going to leave that in my inbox. Because, you know, I go back to the reunion, and I'm reminded that it's been a long time since I was in high school. I have trouble remembering things. I mean, I have a grandson. I'm G-Paw, by the way, and never thought. Isaiah 46:4. Maybe you can appreciate this. Even to your old age and gray hairs, I am He. How about it? All the way through. I am who will sustain you. I have made you, and I will carry you. I will sustain you, and I will rescue you. Amen to that. If you're trying to do it yourself, just give up, because you can't. Give up now or give up later, but you're going to give up, and you're going to trust. My dad telling me a story just last night about, you know, when you really just turn things over to God, you just got to turn them over, and you just got to rest, and you just got to quit working so hard, because He's going to do the right work. Brother Armstrong, can I get an amen to that one? Right. Absolutely. I want to pray with us, and then our worship team. You know, pulling a worship team together from a distance, that's not an easy thing to do. And when Terry called me, I've known Terry for years because we're in the same tribe and those kind of things. And he told me he was leading the singing, and I knew he wasn't a singer. I knew he was a preacher. And he was an honor choir. I wasn't, so he got that one. But to these folks that put that together, isn't that just awesome? Amen. Beck was my dad's pianist in the church back in the day. If there's anybody that I say, wow, she looks the same as 35 years ago. Makes me jealous.
Mary Beth is another reason why I know God's leading this reunion, because He put her back at my life.
Yeah.
So we've had an awesome time doing this.
You know, that just says we have stories, right? Just we all have stories. And just reflect today on your story and walk in thankfulness. Don't wait till next month when it's Thanksgiving, but just be thankful. So if the worship team can come on up and prepare, I want to pray with you. Father, this morning we are so grateful and so thankful for your grace. Just your grace. We know that we have been bought with a price, and we don't want to take that for granted. And so I just pray that everyone in this room today will trust you with their life, with their hope, with their salvation, and Lord, with their pain, with their relationships, with their finances, with their future, with their kids and grandkids, that we'll just trust you, because we can't do it alone. We can only do it with you. Help us to live this life of faith, and this song about you being our cornerstone, the rock, the one that we go to. And we'll be careful to give you the praise. In Jesus' name. Thank you, God.
think or ask. His grace is for us. Our benediction is going to be the great old hymn of the church. 3 verses of Amazing Grace.